Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Lucas, and today I wanted to make a video to kind of talk a little bit and explore what it's like now being a year and 7 months on testosterone and 3 months post-op, and how I feel about the changes, my physical changes slowing down and what this means. So first off, the most noticeable thing for me is I have a lot of free time and energy that used to be taken up by focusing on my transition, the reactions around my transition, and just overall just being trans and my identity, constantly, thinking about it and wanting to start, all this stuff. It really takes a toll and used a lot of my energy. It's like a fucking part-time job being trans, because I used to focus on it so much prior to starting my transition and even after my transition, because I felt like a lot of my transition, it wasn't like a smooth sailing. It was like, okay, I started testosterone, but I wasn't out to all my friends and family till I was like 7 months on testosterone. So it was like I was passing to some people, and some people were still misgendering me because they didn't know, or they kept fucking up. So it was like this all inconsistent, all over the place. Or even after I'm passing, like up to like 2 months ago that I actually get my government ID with my actual name, and I was able to change it at school. Like, all that stuff is fucked up and takes a toll on you, and kind of just like takes away from like the small and easy parts of life. If there are any, it's like people know your name, people call you by the correct pronouns, it's just assumed. But for us, like, no, that's like everything to us, And it's kind of like these small things that really exhaust you really fast. So now that like I have bureaucracy on my side, society, and my body, I feel like I have a lot more room and space and time for things that I enjoy, my hobbies, my career, etc., education, and it's much easier to navigate the world. It slows down. I'm much more comfortable, and I can, put myself at ease in certain spaces that I wouldn't have otherwise. So, for instance, this summer, I'm looking so much forward to going to the beach, to be able to swim, to go in a pool, to go running. Like, I feel like exercise, I wasn't able to exercise because, obviously I was so uncomfortable with my body, and I just, like, it was so triggering just thinking of going to the gym and all this stuff. So I am so excited. Another thing I found interesting is that right after I had my top surgery, my body became like so comfortable. It became my home, to the point where like I now can't really imagine what it was like prior to having surgery. Like, it's so hard for me, and I think part of it is probably like me suppressing that because I don't want to remember it. And then I think the other part is just that this alignment that I have right now is so good, and my mental and physical state are so good and better than they have ever been, that it's like trying to put myself in that place where I was, I can't. And this feels so natural because this feels so natural. And that's another thing. Now that I'm much more comfortable kind of with my identity and being trans, I'm much more at ease when I out myself. So prior to like really passing, or like just being in between kind of, I wasn't really comfortable telling people I was trans. It was kind of my own thing, and only people that knew me prior knew kind of. Now if it comes up in the conversation, or I just feel like I want to share this with someone, it's not a big deal to me. I get a lot of like, oh, I couldn't know, like I couldn't tell, or like I wouldn't know, or like all this stuff. And in my head, I'm just like, wow, like, what is that? Like, what are you trying to say by telling me that? Like, that you can identify like any trans person because they don't pass, or what a trans person looks like, or do we all look the same? Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a microaggression, and it's just really annoying to hear. So sometimes I hate that answer or that comment I get, and I'm just like, please shut up. Like, I'm telling you and I'm disclosing my identity. I don't want you to like tell me that. Like, that shouldn't be the first thing you tell me. So again, gaining this kind of like easiness of navigating the world, and how much easier it's become, it really is like the small things that like you kind of start to forget that like were ever an issue in the first place. So like traveling, like 3 months post-op, I can travel now, and when I go through that little machine in the airport, it's not as triggering, and it's not as scary. I had a really bad experience one time at the airport doing that, and now it's much easier. Lift my hands up, nothing's there, there's no problem, you know, my identity and my ID also aligns, like everything's in place. Prior, no. So you know, again, it's kind of these small things that, you know, most people take for granted, or that like we get hung up on prior to like beginning transition, that really take a toll on you. And I feel like now, as like I worry and I focus less on my physical changes, I can really start to notice and really build this sense of gratitude towards life, because I am able to navigate so much easier, and it's amazing. And the last thing I kind of want to talk about is my sexuality, queerness, and relationships. So I currently have a partner. She's cis and she's a woman. So oftentimes when we're out and about, we will probably get mistaken. Well, I guess we are a hetero couple, but like I feel like my queerness kind of goes away because I pass, and because, you know, I fit all the norms, I'm masculine, whatever, right? Like, so I've been thinking about this a lot lately. It's like, like how can I basically show these people that I'm not cis, and you know, and I still identify within the LGBT community. I'm fucking trans, for like fuck's sakes, you know? And that was another thing. Like prior to starting T, my sexuality, I was like only really interested in women. Now, you know, like over a year and later, I feel like I'm much more open to the idea of and the possibility of being with a man. And this was definitely like a out prior to T, and now I definitely see my sexuality as much more fluid. I don't know if this is the case for everyone. I've heard this often, where your sexuality can change and stuff. I think sexuality is fluid, just like gender is. But yeah, so it's like this kind of idea of like where I fit in terms of all these molds, and how I can identify as queer while still being, you know, mistaken for like a cis hetero guy like all the time now. And it's just really interesting to like think about and explore. That's all. I want to kind of keep this video short. If you guys have any questions or comments you would like me to answer, feel free to post them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.